بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. Welcome to our very first panel discussion, and today's topic is contemporary Zakat challenges, navigating complex modern realities. Our panel today addresses a critical question: how do we apply one of Islam's oldest and most fundamental obligations to a modern, borderless economy? We are living in a financial revolution with digital earnings, cryptocurrencies, gig work, and global assets. And we have seen a lot of detailed information from the keynote speakers, information that we have been presented, treasure trove of information regarding with the various digital assets as well digital transformation that our world has seen. We are living in a financial revolution as we speak. Inshallah, this session will bring much needed clarity. Our esteemed panelists will provide scholarly guidance and practical solution on Zakat, crypto, gig workers, and offshore income. We will also explore how institutions can modernize policies and public awareness to ensure Zakat remains relevant, just, and impactful. Inshallah, in order to discuss these topics further, we have our guests. First of all, we have Ustaz Sheikh Abdul Hadi, Manager, Sharia Department, Bank of Maldives Islamic. He holds a master's in Sharia and a bachelor's in Sharia and Law with specialized training in Islamic FinTech. Currently managing Sharia Department at BML Islamic, the largest financial institution in the Maldives. And as a member of the Sharia Advisory Board at the Ministry of Finance, Sheikh Abdul Hadi brings both deep scholarly knowledge and a high-level practical experience. Sheikh Abdul Hadi is not only a certified Sharia advisor and auditor, but also a licensed lawyer and a respected academic, having lectured at several national universities. With expertise spanning Islamic jurisprudence, fintech, and financial regulation, Sheikh Abdul Hadi offers invaluable insight into the practical application of Sharia principles in modern finance. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Sheikh Abdul Hadi. Up next, in the middle, we have Ustaz Azmin Rashid, Islamic Financial Consultant, Ministry of Finance and Planning. He holds a Master's of Law and a Bachelor's degree in Sharia and Law. Ustaz Azmin is a leading Sharia expert in Islamic finance. He is currently a Sharia auditor at Ernst & Young, the Managing Director of the Maldives Center for Islamic Finance. He also serves on the Sharia committees of several key national institutions, including the Maldives Zakat House. With his extensive experience in structuring sukuk and advising on Islamic finance, he brings invaluable practical insight to our discussion today. Please join me in welcoming Ustaz Azmin Rashid. And finally, we have Ahmad Zakaria, Deputy Director General, Return Processing, Maldives Inland Revenue Authority, MIRA. He holds a Master's of Business Administration and is currently advancing his professional expertise through the ACCA qualification. So, being in the senior management with nearly 2 decades of experience in public finance and economic development, working at the senior management of taxpayer services, Ahmed Zakaria is overseeing all return collection, processing, and registration. His expertise is not only deep but also broad, having participated in advanced international training with institutions like IMF, OECD, and the Asian Development Bank, and on critical areas like revenue administration, SME development, and compliance risk management. Please join me in welcoming Ahmed Zakaria. So let's us dive into the complexities. Sheikh Abdul Hadi and Ustaz Azmin Rashid, I would like to start with you both on the core principles. And from keynote speech also, we have got certain information about cryptocurrencies. And today's topic with regards to this panel discussion also include NFTs and other digital assets. When we speak about the cryptocurrencies, for the common layman, there is this sense of mystic note the terms actually have. So first of all, before answering to the main question, I would like to request both of you or one of you to answer what do we mean by cryptocurrency, what is the nature of it in a layman's terminology, and what are NFTs and other digital assets, and what is the how should a Muslim calculate zakat on these assets?
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ba'd. I think Prof. Muniza has covered a lot about our topic today. So we'll give some details regarding crypto assets or digital assets or NFTs or metaverse, which is categorized as digital assets in this world. So when we think about the asset in era or early Islamic civilization, when we say asset, it is all about digital tangible assets like gold, silver, or livestock, all these things. But in this world now, in this modern technology time, we have cryptocurrencies, digital currencies that we can't see, even we can't touch. So is this something that we can categorize as a mal or wealth? So it is, as Prof. Muniza has said, that it is still in discussion within the Sharia committees or fatwa committees on its reality, what it is. As we know that cryptocurrency, or as we know the Bitcoin, which is in a computer network or computer generated something using cryptography, or we say in blockchain technology, something like that, is which is backed, we can say, which is backed by USD or some currency that we are currently using. So when we say blockchain technology or cryptocurrency or digital assets, which now we are using as a medium of exchange, in some areas even we use as a asset that we can invest in. So how we can categorize as a mal? So as Dr. Muniza has said that even the animal skin also can be utilized in past. Even I recall what Imam Malik has said, that if people has accepted animal skin sealed as an asset that we can use as a medium of exchange, then I fear that ribawi element can be included if it is exchanged with a gold or coin without a spot exchange. So لو أن الناس أجازوا الجلود سكة وعينا أي عملة يتعاملها الناس بها. If people accepts as a asset or a currency that can be used, so we can categorize even animal skin as a currency or asset that we can use. So why not the digital currency or the cryptocurrency that is people has accepted? Even in Maldives or Malaysia or the world, all we have accepted as a currency that we can utilize. Even we can pay, we can buy things. So if people has accepted, then it is categorized as a mal or zakatable asset. So when we talk about the calculation of zakat on digital currency, so we have to take always on the market value on the due date of the zakat. If we have, but we know that it is very volatile, the price is very fluctuate. When it was introduced during the 2008 or 9, the digital Bitcoin, it is very low. But now, I think 2 weeks ago, the one Bitcoin is how much? 124,000 USD, one Bitcoin. And it fluctuates every day. So when we calculate the zakat on cryptocurrency or Bitcoin or any digital asset or any wealth, so we have to calculate based on the market value on the due date of the zakat. That's what we have to do.
Ustaz, do you have any addition to that? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So I think you need to understand the classical description of wealth we can understand from the 6 ribawi commodities that was mentioned in the hadith. That's gold, silver, wheat, barley, salt and dates. What is the common aspect behind all these 6 for it to be considered ribawi commodities? Why not camels? Why not tables? Or why not chairs? Why not lights? So when we look into it, the most common factor that is present in these 6 commodities is the fact that they were used as a medium of exchange. So the important point here to note is, were they used as a currency? Were they used as a medium of exchange? And does it fulfill the conditions of the currency, of a currency which we can call in economic terms? Where we know the characteristics of a currency, where we have to have acceptability, scarcity, divisibility, portability, and so on and so forth. So think about it. Any currency, anything that holds value that can be considered as a medium of exchange, then it falls within the general definition of currency, and it should be zakatable. So even if these commodities, what you need to understand is, if you look at gold and silver, in its natural form, it exists within the earth, and there is substantial difficulty for us to mine it and then get it. We are not able to acquire gold, we are not able to acquire silver until we undergo a process of mining it. Similarly, we are not able to acquire wheat, barley, or dates until we undergo a process of planting, harvesting it, and then harvesting the fruit and then taking from the fruit, like farming for it. So these particular conditions are backhand met for it to be considered as a currency. Similarly, if you look at cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in general, we have the technology for it. We understand if there is no electricity today, we would not be able to access Bitcoin at all. We would not be able to access cryptocurrency at all. We would not be able to access the NFTs or the digital currencies, digital assets we have. Similarly, like I said, we would not have been able to access gold and silver without the technology of mining it physically from the gold and iron ores, gold and silver ores. It's the same thing. So the idea behind Bitcoin or the cryptocurrencies and not being able to be considered as wealth is because it's not something that's tangible. It's not something you can feel, see, but it's also accessible through a means in which there has to be a technology, there has to be a software, there has to be electricity for it. When we look at it, it's the same thing as the mining technology of mining gold and silver, or the farming technology or harvesting technology of wheat, barley, and other zakatable livestock and crops. Similarly, there's a form for it. So you need to understand here is that Bitcoin itself is zakatable because there is a process, and the process itself is similar to the same process in which we undergo, we consider other forms of currencies and livestock as zakatable assets.
Okay, so that is a very detailed explanation. Even Professor Dr. Muniza also mentioned that it depends on the perception of the people. So as long as they are using, for example, cryptocurrency as a means of exchange or as money, then I think from the perspective of Sharia, we also need to have some standards, and it is very important because at the end of the day, I feel like you can say it is haram, for example, to deal with it, but on the other side, we see that people are more and more getting used to making dealings with the cryptocurrencies as well.
Yeah, I agree with Brother Azmin. So we may not have the same features that included in fiat currency, but in cryptocurrency, some scholars said it is a unique currency with unique features which may not meet all the features or characteristics which is included in the fiat money that we have. So normally when some scholars say that it is not allowed based on its utilization, because initially when even Dr. Muniza has said that people use the crypto or these digital assets for gambling or for prohibited prohibited activities. So I recall Sheikh Abdurrahman al-Barak has said that when he was questioned regarding the cryptocurrency, he said it's haram, prohibited. We cannot use. The reason is the how it was utilized among the people. People use the crypto mainly for scamming and gambling, all those things. But now I realize that it is those features or those things which is utilized, or the people how it is utilized, not itself within the crypto. Even fiat currency we can use for those, even gambling or any prohibited things, even gold and silver also we can use. So the cryptocurrency itself, it doesn't include anything which is prohibited. What is prohibited is how it is utilized among the people. So that's a very important thing to note, that even anything we can say, even a knife that we use, people may use to murder people. Can we say the knife is haram? No. So if anything or anything is prohibited among the people because of its utilization, then we cannot say bizat or itself it is haram.
Okay, thank you. So just to follow up on a question regarding the gig economy, how do we assess zakat fairly for gig workers, for example, and freelancers whose income can be so irregular? Like how are they obligated, and what is the, for example, what do we depend when it comes to treating them fairly when it comes to making their wealth zakatable?
Yeah, so the thing is, with the gig economy or the freelancing economy, they do not have a stable income. So they fall under the category of, we have a special category in how do we calculate zakat on a rolling account. So the income they earn from is deposited to an account, and this account fluctuates throughout the year. We have a balance, opening balance, we have a closing balance towards the end of the year, and the net becomes it diminishes and it increases all the time. So there's an accounting principle which says opening balance, and we add it with the net difference within the months equals the closing balance. So based on this principle, most of the scholars have said that you give out zakat on the closing balance of the account, provided that throughout the year the nisab remains intact. It does not go below the amount of nisab. So this is in line with the accounting principle here. I've tested it out, practiced it like multiple times. I've even there is a couple of theories, couple of queries also from the public, that why not we take it from the lowest threshold of the year. Maybe like we could have starting of opening balance as 100,000, but we had a lowest point as 10,000, and then the closing balance has 50,000. So what we are saying is we pay zakat on the closing balance, which is 50,000, based on the accounting principle which I've said before. But there are questions on queries on why should we take it the 50,000 in the end when the lowest point of the account was 10,000. So what happens is in this manner you're not calculating zakat on the complete assets or complete amount rolled throughout your account. And there is also another query in which we could have an average of all months included and then calculate zakat towards the end. This could also be a mechanism. It all depends on the ijtihad of the scholars. But I am of the opinion that if we refer to the accounting principles, which is opening balance, inclusive of the net difference of the months, it will give you the closing balance. No matter how much it fluctuated between the months. If it fluctuated between 1 million to 20,000, it still comes to the closing balance of the account. So this is the mechanism in which gigs and freelancers, gig workers, they can calculate zakat based on this mechanism. This is an easy mechanism, but then there's a difficult mechanism for him. Then they will have to undergo each and every process, calculate monthly the net differences, the net increases, and they'll have to give out zakat every monthly starting the end of the first year. But that would be highly it would be a difficult process for the person to calculate zakat in this mechanism.
Thank you. That's a very well detailed explanation. I would come back to I will come back to you regarding the gig economic as well. As for now, I'm Zakaria. I want to bring the questions home to the Maldivian context. Especially Mira is now they have a mandate to collect and has the collection point is for zakat in the Maldives is Mira. So we have talking about various modern digital assets, cryptocurrencies, NFT, as well as other kinds of assets. And I would like to ask, could the role of an institution like Mira change in the zakat collection process to adapt the rise of digital earnings and gig economy and the like?
Well, our current practice in zakat collection is that in Maldives, they declare their zakat voluntarily. They compute, calculate their zakat, and then they make payments at the moment through Mira. They use our services, same services that we offer to taxpayers. They use these services to pay their zakat, and then our role is to hand over this zakat collection to the relevant government institution. And with regard to your question and the points highlighted in our first keynote speech, it states, it highlighted that we need to have a proper governance framework in Maldives to govern these new financial assets. So at this moment, on the collection side, I do not see major changes with regard to earning these new earning incomes from these new financial instrument, modern financial technological instruments. As long as they are able to compute their zakat, the amount of zakat they pay, there are facilities that they can easily pay zakat. Like they can use same services that we offer to taxpayers. So on I think in keynote speech it also highlights the two parts of these technologies. One is owning these assets, earning income from these assets, and then paying zakat on these incomes. The other side is whether using these new cryptocurrencies or new financial instrument to pay zakat. At this moment, Maldives does not allow paying zakat through these new modern financial instruments. We only accept payments through their banks and the cards, using cards that that are accepted by our Maldives payment gateway. So at this moment, on the collection side, it's not allowed. And it all depends on how these new instruments are accepted by our financial organizations, and whether our legal framework allow using these new financial instruments in settling those payments. So we have identified this, and technology has changes even collection process as well. Over the past few years, our online collections through online modes has increased significantly. Mira collects about more than 80% of total government revenue, and out of this 80% revenue, more than 90% are collected through online medium. So it is these technological changes, improvements are coming to Maldives, and it is being absorbed by our institution as well. But at this moment, I could say that the cryptos are not yet used as mode of payments, especially in paying or tax or not, or even paying zakat.
So right now there is no major much more challenge when it comes to the landscape is not going to change, but I think it depends on the future changes globally as well as in how the people accept and deal with these things. I think beforehand it is also of our interest actually to explore these areas and to be ready. And who knows, we might be might have to even change the legal framework to accommodate for these changes, I believe. And coming back to Ustaz Azmin and Sheikh Abdul Hadi, with regards to from the keynote speech also, we have seen some information about the offshore income and global assets in our borderless economy. So specifically, how do we define location or of wealth for zakat, for example? What guiding principles should we Muslims use for offshore income and global assets? And would you like to give an explanation on what has been presented so far?
Yeah, so this is I think the most important question of this panel right now. So what you need to understand here is we lived in a globalized world where a lot of people live in multiple areas of different geographic locations. And these geographic locations offer multiple challenges as well as resilience and opportunities similarly. If you look at the developed world, they provide multiple services through which they are funded by the tax system of their respective country. So if you look at the developed world, countries like UK, the income tax percentage is so high that most of their income, I think more than 50% of their income generally is taxed, so that these taxed portions are utilized for providing services to their economy, to their country or welfare programs. So think about it. We in Maldives, we have a flat rate of 15%. I think Mira here would agree. For the income tax, corporate income tax, as well as they have a progressive income tax up to 15%, and not more than that for personal income tax. So there is incentive for the globalized world to come to transfer their wealth to low income tax paying countries. So this is the principle behind the start of offshore financial centers. So we in Malaysia, there was an offshore financial center established 30 years ago. It's Labuan Financial Services, under Labuan Financial Service Authority. Dubai initiated offshore financial services around 20 years ago. They have the Dubai International Financial Center. In Maldives, we recently announced or partnered to establish offshore financial services with the Maldives International Financial Center. Tax, it is perceived to be a tax haven, yes, but tax incentives are an integral part of offshore finance, which means we'll go into zakat in a bit. Offshore finance by itself, investing in offshore, keeping it offshore means you are granted certain exemptions in which the host country does not provide you. If you keep the wealth in the host country, you are obviously taxed by a certain X amount of percentage in which the offshore country or offshore center does not. Or maybe offshore center would obviously have a lower tax threshold. So this is an integral part of keeping finances in an offshore center. So coming back to the question, how do we, what are the guiding principles of zakat for the offshore finance? Zakat, obviously, if we consider, we are talking about in the form of wealth tax, similar to a wealth tax. How do we impose a zakat or zakat wealth tax when the center itself, through competition, is marketed as a tax, lower tax, or a tax, like zero tax center? So there is no tax to be paid, or very in comparative to the tax paid by the host country, a lower tax paid in the financial center. How do we impose in that mechanism a 2.5% zakat on them? So this is a key question. Even if it's imposed, should it be imposed by the host country, or should it be imposed by the country that has the center? No. So we in a globalized world, we have multiple centers right now. We have Singapore, Malaysia. Recently, India has started offshore finance some time back, a couple of 10 or years back. There was Mauritius started offshore financial center. So the idea behind it is, with more offshore financial centers are emerging, they have to compete to provide the best of services, to provide the best of rates in order to attract the global wealth capital. So bulk of the world's capital lie in developed economies, where the developed economies hold the highest tax percentages. So there is really high incentive for them to move their wealth from these developed economies into the offshore financial centers. And the way we market it is, of course, it's going to be lower tax, or maybe no tax for an X number of years. And then we say, but you have to pay zakat. So how do we reconcile this? So I'm not saying we have to impose payment of zakat, but we need to set up with the guiding principles. Zakat is obligatory for every Muslim, despite where his wealth lie in Antarctica or Europe or in Maldives. It's him who is responsible for payment of zakat no matter where the wealth lie. So we could have a self-accountable mechanism. For one would be a guiding principle. That's number one. Number two is how do we impose this particular tax on the host country? Maybe like the offshore financial centers are marketing itself as a zero tax or lower tax. So definitely they won't be imposing a tax, or they won't be imposing any other zakat tax, but they could have a guiding principle that provided that you pay zakat in this and this amount to the host country or to the offshore center established country, you have subscribed to this and this amount of additional incentives which can be provided by the center. That could be a mechanism in which we incentivize the person to pay zakat to the financial center, to the either to the host country or the center established country. That way they get additional incentives offered by the financial center.
Yeah, very challenging indeed to find the middle ground in terms of the factors involved in this case. So let me a little bit entertain for a moment. For example, in a case where we don't impose people, we just base it on awareness. I would like to bring the attention of Ahmad Zakaria into this question in terms of awareness. Given our booming gig economy and digital earnings, as well as my question is, what practical educational tools or initiatives could we implement to effectively raise public awareness about these new zakat obligations?
I think, especially with regard to these new financial instruments and incomes and earnings related to them and paying zakat, I think it's we could say that our young generation and the middle income group or middle age group would be quite familiar with these new instruments, and they could probably own some of these and could be earning from these assets. But they are primarily invested in this for income purposes, could be, but they might not be very well aware of zakat obligation on these new instruments. As highlighted in our keynote, these are new instruments. Its zakat application is in some areas it is conflicting, and it requires domestic ruling on that. So their awareness on this new instrument, especially zakat obligation on these new instruments, should be addressed. And I think on this group of people, we could use social media platform, because the kind of assets they hold in this area suggest that they would be very much active in the social medias, and this using websites and applications like I think introduced by Zakat House. This could be very effective tools to promote, to enhance their awareness on these issues. But we should also note that the older age group, some of these modes might not be very appropriate to them. So we should still continue holding discussions and conduct programs through TVs and radios, the modes that are more appropriate to these groups.
Yeah. So it is very important, for example, when we are going into the non-restrictive method to create awareness. But of course, certain degree of governance as well as legislation is important. So as we are running out of time, I would like to ask our Sheikh Abdul Hadi, with regards to, since you are a lawyer and also have a Sharia background, when it comes to regulations and legislation and formulating our legal framework, how can governments and zakat bodies modernize their regulation to include these new asset classes, even without compromising Sharia compliance?
Yes. I think when we talk about modernization, it doesn't mean that we are just leaving what is uh, mentioned in the Sharia or what is detailed in the Sharia. So, first thing is we have to have a good governance. That's the first thing. Any legislation or any legal framework that we establish for the zakat system or any other system. So, the most important thing is to have a good governance, whether it is a corporate governance or a Sharia governance. So, the second thing is that uh, we it should have a good transparency. Nowadays, people are hesitant to pay zakat. Why? Because they are reluctant to pay zakat. Why? Because they don't know where it is dispersed. They fear that it may utilize for a political need. So we need to have now, Alhamdulillah, Zakat House has started publishing annual reports and how it is utilized. It's very important. It should be compulsory for the Zakat regulators, Zakat House or Ministry of Islamic Affairs, to publish all related financials or how it is paid or the rules related with this. So transparency is most important thing in this world, because we don't trust each other. That's the issue in our society. So that's in short.
Yeah. So we have around 5 minutes. Just I would like to take some question from the audience. So yes, Dr. Baru. Mike.
Thank you for the quite enlightening and very important panel discussion, which was, I think, triggered also partly by Prof. Muniza earlier. There are some comments that I would like to make, as well as clarification. I think we have been using interchangeably currency and money. These two are different. When there are some things that is accepted by a society, that is money, that is not currency. Currency is when it is endorsed, validated, backed by a central bank, then it becomes currency. So when we talk about skin of an animal, tooth of a seal, dolphin, whatever it is, that is money. Historically, cigarettes, coconuts, everything that has been used by money, because the society accepted it as a mean of payment. Currency, on the other hand, is a different thing. That's why we are facing this problem with the crypto currently. Okay, second thing is when you talk about offshore, again, because we are using interchangeably equivalent tax and zakat. Tax and zakat are not equivalent, they are not the same. One comes from the God, one is created by man. One is a flat rate, 2.5%, the other is mostly used as progressive. That's why tax offshore, midshore, you can use your discretion. You want to give exemption, you want to reduce, no problem, because it's a government's obligatory. Again, offshore, you have a problem where they want to pay the tax, because host country, they want the tax for the development of the country. But now you are keeping it offshore or midshore or wherever it is. So the discretion. Zakat, on the other hand, is not a liability. It's an instrument of purification. So this is where I think the awareness and education needs to be done, saying that, look, zakat is not to tax you, not to take away some of your profit, but it's actually meant to enrich you. So it's a purification process. But the problem starts when we equate zakat and tax until it's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. I hope, inshallah, we will start be using this. And coming back to crypto, I'm not a fan of crypto, but because, like I said, if you follow any dictionary definition of a goods has to be something that can be seen, can be touched, can be felt, can be known, who is the owner, and so on. You can look for any dictionary definition. But crypto, I'm still having problems trying to grasp how can it become a mal. And I know some Sharia scholars said it's same like values, which can also be priced. But like I said, I'm not a fan. I'm not a Sharia expert, but I'm not a fan. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Muharram. Any more questions? In the middle. Yeah.
Thank you. My question is with regards to zakat. As we initially began, Dr. Muniza was giving us the idea of why we needed a separate bill for zakat, for example. The reason is because it is from divine inspiration. This is not something we make up ourselves as man-made regulations. So with that in mind, when we are considering digital currencies and digital assets, I'm wondering if locally here within the Maldives, in the context of Zakat House and Islamic Ministry, has there been any local discussions among our scholars, because it's related to the religion, not directly related to just money and currency. So has there been any sessions so far, or is it something that you are considering to have to create awareness among our local scholars and among the community as well as the employees of Zakat House and Islamic Ministry?
Perhaps DG would like to answer that question. Yeah.
So on future we have planned to aware among the scholars and as well the public, as well all the expertise with the relevant authorities, and also I think for the already we are creating the awareness throughout the all Maldives, inshallah. Thank you.
From the panel, do you have any remarks on that? Yeah.
Yes. So I sit on the Sharia committee of Maldives Zakat House. I think this is a matter which we will not be foregoing, because we've seen millions being invested in USD Theta in the latest financial scam called ZemQ. So it's important that this particular aspect, how we define cryptocurrencies, how we calculate zakat on it, be published in Maldives Zakat House website. Maldives Zakat House will definitely have to be the standard setting body for Maldivian context. So this particular discussions will be held in detail, and the resolutions will be published. This is what I hope. Hopefully, the Council of Maldives Zakat House will be willing to make it all public, the discussions within the advisory committees. Thank you.
Any more questions? Inshallah, with this, we will conclude the first panel discussion on the contemporary Zakat challenges, navigating complex modern realities. I would like to thank our panelists, Sheikh Abdul Hadi, Ustaz Azmin Rashid, and Ahmad Zakaria for sharing us with the valuable information. And I would like to thank the audience also for the wonderful collaboration and participation. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.